What's good, everybody? This is Blaine, co-host of the B&N podcast. Welcome back to the B&N channel. And I have some more news for you guys for this daily news. Quick daily news. Paramount wins bidding war for the Leonardo DaVinci biopic starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Who didn't see this coming? It was actually, everybody was saying, wouldn't it be funny if Leonardo DiCaprio played Leonardo da Vinci for a movie, and it has come true. Let's get into this article. I'm excited for this as a person that loves art history in general, who I also consider myself a student of Da Vinci's work. Let's jump into and see what Variety has to say, shall we? Here we go. Paramount has beaten out Universal in a 7-figure bidding war for the rights to Walter Isaacson's book on Leonardo da Vinci. Variety can confirm the biopic will star fellow Leonardo DiCaprio. DiCaprio will also produce the film with his Appian Way banner alongside President of Production Jennifer Davison. ICM Partners brokered the deal for Isaacson and his book Leonardo da Vinci in advance of its release. Universal attempted to outbid Paramount on Friday, with bidding continuing into Saturday morning. Man, they went at it. That's not unusual, though. You'll have a lot of companies be bidding on these IP, like these products, whether it be a script, book, like a novel, or whether it be a graphic novel. There's tons of stories, especially like with Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. That went through a bidding war, I believe. And some of his latest stuff now gone through a bidding war. So it's unbelievable. And some of the most unique things about the bidding wars, at least for these books, the books are not even out yet and they're already bidding on the idea. But that comes to, hey, you got to have the right agent, or you just got to have that je ne sais quoi, Folks just got to know who you are, and they know that you can, that your product will be a hit regardless, so they want to make movies out of it. So let's continue. DiCaprio's desire to play Da Vinci on film is no coincidence. The actor's mother famously claims to have chosen the artist as her son's namesake when she felt in utero. DiCaprio kicked for the first time while examining a Da Vinci piece at the I'm about to butcher this. UFC Gallery. My art history teacher's gonna kill me for that. Gallery in Florence, Italy, back in 1974. My former professor, anyway. Isaacson is a New York Times bestselling author who has written biographies on other notable thinkers such as Albert Einstein, Henry Kissinger, Steve Jobs, and Benjamin Franklin. Most recently, his 2007 book Einstein: His Life and Universe was adapted into the National Geographic's Genius, starring Jeffrey Rush as Einstein. Leonardo da Vinci will be released October 17th, 2017. The news was first reported by Deadline Hollywood. Okay. And I'm pretty sure they said the same things that Variety is saying. So yeah, this is very interesting news. I'm pretty much excited for this. And stay tuned. Let's jump off to why I'm excited for it. See you on the other side. What's going on, everybody? This is Blaine here with another video for you guys on the B&N channel. And we just talked about, from the article, about Leonardo DiCaprio going to be playing as Leonardo da Vinci in a biopic film. Like I said during the article, this is not really a big surprise for a lot of folks that have been saying it for years. Like, it'd be funny if DiCaprio plays Da Vinci in a film. And he always has wanted to play him. So it's really, really interesting. And for me, as a person that's an artist, and for the other folks that are here on the channel as well that are artists, this is big for me. There's been little doco series type deals on him, documentaries or reenactments of his life. There's been the Da Vinci's Demons show made by David Goyer, the co-writer for the Dark Knight trilogy. So there's been some stuff with him, but not to this level. I don't ever remember there being a Da Vinci film that was in theaters that was going to be shown worldwide. At least not on this level, especially with high no name as Leonardo DiCaprio. So I'm really interested in seeing what they will do. And since they're talking about his life, it should start off obviously to the fact that he he grew up pretty much almost a lot of them. He grew he grew up. I want to. I can't remember. His last name really wasn't Da Vinci. His that was just Da Vinci was just a place where he was at. So he's really called Leonardo of Vinci. But I know at that time his father was the one that put him into art. Usually during that time period, the sons would do what their fathers would do. They would be the bankers. If they weren't like born in royalty, to be like bankers or politicians, things of that nature. To be an artist at that time, it was almost like if you were, I want to say, I could be wrong, I can't remember all the details right now, but at that time, like if you were born lesser than, if you were born like a bastard, so to speak, they would put you into some type of trade, and it'd be like art or whatever. And during that time period as well, which I wish that they would bring back here today, you still have them with arteliers and everything, but during that time you actually have masters that would teach these young ones, like the apprentices, for numerous of years, and that's what Da Vinci did. Da Vinci was taught under one guy, and he learned all he needed to do. He didn't just jump into a painting. You had to learn. Usually you had to make your master's paints. You would have to know how to make your own frames. Make the frames, put the canvas. You make your own canvas. You make your own frames. You make your own paint, and mixing it with egg yolk and tempera, right? So like in that type of painting, you gotta paint as if you're drawing because it dries really quick. But it'd be really interesting on what is in the book. I'm going to get the book. I want to read it, especially since it's going to be since the film is going to be based off this material. But hopefully we get to see his process on how he came up with the different designs that, besides, a lot of folks don't know that Da Vinci, they know him for his paintings and his drawings, but he was more than that. He was a polymath, right? So he was, for a guy that grew up not really being around like his folks, to become such a master, such a legend of today, it's really high praise. He just took things to a whole different level, and we use this stuff even today. He did designs for a tank. He did designs on the flying machine that he was working on. He did designs on a scuba diver, right? So a lot of folks think that's where we got some of our stuff from. As far as like inspirations and whatnot for to build the things that we had like during World War I, World War II, etc., etc. So he was really ahead of his time with a lot of different things. And also, how was his interaction with other great artists? There was the whole thing that him and Michelangelo, they didn't get along, right? They had a duel, I believe, right in the middle of the street. Those two didn't get along. Then there was there's Leonardo, there was Michelangelo, you had Raphael, you had some other top artists at that time period as well. And it will also be interesting to see his interactions with the Borgias. He did dealings with them. He did like Rodrigo Borgia, Cesare Borgia, Cesare Borgia. For guys that you don't know, drop some knowledge on you guys. The Jesus that you guys be seeing, go get the Cesare Borgia painting and go get the Jesus one, and it's basically the same person. It is the same person. The father, Rodrigo, wanted to use his son Cesare as what they depicted of what Jesus looked like. A lot of folks don't know that, or they don't want to know that, but that is the truth. That's what they did. They hid the original paintings of how Jesus was depicted under the underground, like under the cathedral. Oh, yeah, probably under cathedrals, like with the Catholic Church and whatnot. They got the real paintings, and then they'll put these false paintings out there to give you this image that this is how Jesus looked like when he isn't what he looked like, you know. So even like now, some folks say if you go over to Spain, you get to see how the Pope, not the popes, the apostles looked like. There are still paintings of the how the apostles or how Jesus looked like, and he had dark skin or black. But that's pretty much what happened with that. It'd be interesting if they go into that. I doubt that very seriously, and it would just be really. I'm really excited to what they do, depending on what the guy puts into this book. I'm pretty sure it's really gonna be, nitpick and all that type of stuff. Especially like if I gave it to my art history teacher, my my former professor, I'm pretty sure she'll find something. Can't escape her with that. But it's really exciting what they do, and even if the book gets it right, with the movie will, the movie might take out some stuff that might be very important that happened during his life. And I know a lot of folks will say that Da Vinci might not consider himself like an artist or things of that nature. That was just one way to express himself to get his point across, or to get his designs, because he was multiply talented in multiple different things, and he was he didn't just draw with his left hand; he drew with his right. So he was a very talented guy. I would love to see his interaction with the rest of the artists in that during that time period, during the High Renaissance period, and we see how he makes the impact today. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. Some of the other things that needs to be noticed too, it's not Da Vinci was great, Michelangelo was great, Raphael was great, but we also need to be recognized too who their clients were. We hear so much about them, more so than a whole bunch of others, right? And it's not that the other artists were terrible. They were dope. They were probably way better than even Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael, like the ones that we don't hear about, period. The problem is, that's it. We don't know about them. We don't hear about them because they don't want us to know, or they didn't have the right clientele. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, they had the right clients, they had the right patrons. They did stuff for the Pope, they did stuff for the Catholic churches, they did stuff for a lot of these different things. So they can still be around today. They still hold them to a higher standard than somebody else. So one of the goals that I've been looking towards, been doing, to find out more of these obscure artists that you don't be hearing about from that time period, even others, right? Like, if you just understand history, you will understand that Europe was never always at that standpoint. There were some other nations that were uh, more highly advanced than Europe, like in Spain when the Moors took over, right? And we know for a fact that a lot of the Europeans went over to Spain to be taught by the Moors. So if the Europeans went over there to Spain to be taught by the Moors, I'm pretty sure some of those Moors could paint, draw, do architecture. Obviously, they can do architecture because in Spain right now they still have those influences there, the Islamic architecture and things of that nature. So they had to be taught by somebody. So I'm interested. It's like, well, who taught them, right? So what's the lineage that walks to where we're at today? And I'm not that might be in the book. That'd be dope if it was in the book. I doubt it. That's something that I have to do on my own time. That'd be something I'll talk about, not on this channel per se, but on my personal channel, where I will talk about these historical contexts. But I thought this was very important to talk about, because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, you probably don't even know. You've never heard of it. But, I promise you it's the truth. Especially the Cesare Borgia, especially the stuff with the Moors. When the Moors took over Spain and they brought they brought all almost like a golden era type deal over to Europe when they taught them these different things, right? That that's where Europe became to become its own. So they really didn't have a Renaissance period. They had a Naissance. They had a birth, which was great for them and for their culture and whatnot. Not really a Renaissance. So that's another thing that they don't really talk about or don't want to talk about. They want to act like all this just happened, like it just came out of nowhere, and that's not the case at all. But yeah, I'm excited. The book comes out this year, so maybe they'll start filming next year, and it'll probably come out 2019 at the latest. We'll see, depending on all that needs to be done. Oh, another cool thing, the dope thing about it, they can, they don't have to change, like if they film on location, which they will have to, they don't really have to change anything. I remember I had a colleague of mine, David. He was like, "Hey, Blaine, have you ever been to Italy? Have you ever been to like Florence and all these things?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." And he's like, "We were watching Peabody, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and they went back in time and they were interacting with Da Vinci, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and he was saying like how it looked like back then is how it looks now. It's almost like nothing has changed. So they can literally just take away the cars, put people in the old civilization wardrobe and everything, and just react as if nothing has ever changed. And that's the cool thing. So they really don't have to redo anything. I'm pretty sure his studio still might be there. I'm not sure. I haven't checked up on that. If not, they'll just have to make another one. But it'd be cool to see his whole work process, pretty much everything. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And maybe this will lead up to more things during with that time period with these artists and how they impacted Western civilization or civilization period with their art, because their art drew like their art drove the political, religious stuff, literacy, mythology, everything, because the church put the money into all that. So it was another way of controlling the narrative. That's the interesting thing. So we'll see what happens. This is a very interesting movie to me. It's different, than this other shit that's coming out. So stay tuned for more news on that. I will be updating that, some more stuff as soon as it comes out. And yeah, I'm really excited. So maybe some of you guys will be excited too. So click that like button, click the notification button. Make sure that you tune into all the stuff that's going on the BNN channel, and stay tuned to our podcast. We're making it into a habit where we dropping podcasts each and every week for y'all. If not, we'll do better next time. That's another reason why I'm doing these daily videos for y'all, so y'all can still get some news and our personal opinions on the things that is going on with the industry right now. So until next time, y'all, this is Blaine. I'm signing out. Peace.